myself, Nelson Melwitz, as a ministry leader and an entrepreneur in ministry. Founded a group called Mission Next now, which is connects people into mission around the world from their careers. And Mukesh is a life coach and entrepreneur himself. And we met as a result of him finding this book, Follow Your Calling. And I'm one of the co-authors. And so thanks for joining me, Mukesh. Let's get right into it and ask a few questions.
It's my honor. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, that's excellent. So Mukesh, what's going on right now with the coronavirus in India?
Well, on March 24th, a countrywide lockdown was announced by the Indian government. And this lockdown was ruthlessly imposed, in which people who were found on the street will be beaten by the police. And millions of daily wagers who were depending upon their daily income of about $2 to $3 lost their jobs and the food. They were unable to get any income. In the best of the time, these people are live on the brink of financial crisis with no margin at all. So now they have no way to feed their families. So some have already chosen to commit suicide or even kill their children rather than seeing them starve. Couple of weeks back, a woman, she threw her 5 children into the river and they all died. So when the lockdown started, I realized the believers that I know in the slum called Mangatpuram would be facing desperate situation that is injuring their very existence.
Okay, well, Mukesh, you've held senior positions in telecommunications, have an MBA, and are passionate about following Jesus. How did you hear about these Christian families on the verge of starvation?
Well, I was an young executive with Vodafone, and I had the privilege of supporting and funding Ashish from Mangatpuram village for last 8 years. And he went on to become from a rock picker or a waste picker to become a graduate of theological studies from Asia's one of the largest seminary. And upon his graduation, he planted his first church in the village and became his founding pastor. The church grew from 0 to 600 members today in last 6 years. And since the very beginning, I had been supporting them through spiritual and developmental needs, as well as some financial resources.
Wow. Okay. And so what did you do when you realized that the crisis would be facing them because of the lockdown?
I reached out to see what the situation was and if they were getting any income or support by the government. So one young mother named Monica, whose husband had deserted her for her faith in Jesus Christ about a year ago, she told me that she was left with only 2 options: either to sell her body to feed her dying children or to commit suicide. Another young woman called Lalita, said due to lockdown, she had been living under constant trauma, mental trauma and pressure and fear that she has no idea when the sex would be demanded by her husband or by the landlord. Because as this has been the case previously when the rent was not paid. So hearing stories like these, I was stirred in my spirit and my heart was crying and started burning within me. And I felt something needed to be done. So I made hundreds of calls to local and state government without getting any response from them. I wrote emails after emails, I sent texts and knocked the doors of social media, but nothing worked. It felt me like helpless, but I didn't give up on them. I founded a project called Food for Life. Our goal is to help these families make it to the other side of the crisis, whether it means July or August or beyond.
What has been the impact then of Food for Life so far?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for your gift. It has been very, very timely. We were able to help and save the lives and dignities of scores of people like Mamta and Lalita. And their faith in Christ Jesus has also been strengthened further.
Okay, very good. What are your needs right now?
Well, it takes about $3 to feed a family of 8 for one day. And there are total 143 families in this slum. So that comes to be about $429. We are predicting that they will need our help through July 30th, in which case we still need to raise about 34,000 US. And out of 143 families, 62 families are believers, but our heart's desire is to help all the families in the community to show them Christ's love regardless of their faith.
Okay, at the end of May 2020, what kind of help are you looking for going forward?
Well, sure. In this crisis, the most prevailing need is sharing of finances to ensure these people's bare existence. Whatever amount the Lord has put on your heart. However, I see this as a partnership in an ongoing relationship. And to this end, I'm inviting you to carry these people in your heart and in your prayers.
People have always been concerned, particularly in outside the United States, about accountability and that the money might get lost in an administrative machine, wasted, or just stolen. How can anyone who wants to give be sure the money will get to the right place?
I and the church leaders will ensure that this family will get whatever is given in equal portion, and I will oversee it by myself. In order to increase our financial accountability, we have asked the Congregational Church of Salem in Connecticut to review our financial records, and we are very pleased that they have agreed to be involved in that way, and people can also get the tax cut.
So what should people do if they want to support these families who are beginning to face starvation?
Well, people can allocate funds to feed the dying in India and give the money to the Congregational Church of Salem in Connecticut, whose web link is given in the below caption.
Okay. I have known Mukesh. He's trustworthy, and I have contributed to the cause. And there's a target to raise $10,000 by the end of June, and so I encourage others to give as well. Okay, thank you for joining me, Mukesh.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate that.
Oh, okay, very good. Happy birthday.